Hi friends, welcome to the Weight Loss Stories by Serge channel, where we share inspiring weight loss stories. Today we have a new and very interesting story that will definitely motivate you. Share in the comments how you cope with challenges on your journey, and let's get started.
Chapter 1. The Breaking Point. My name is Patrick Owen, and I'm from Philadelphia, a city where the streets pulse with history and the air carries the scent of cheesesteaks. For most of my life, I carried a burden heavier than the bronze Rocky Balboa statue outside the art museum, my own body. At my peak, I weighed 463 pounds. This is the story of how Patrick Owen from Philadelphia lost 130 kilograms dash, not through surgery or miracle pills, but through a journey that reshaped my mind and body. Let's start with the day I realized I was standing on the edge of a cliff. Metro, the moment of truth. March 15th, 2018, Philadelphia. I stood on a Broad Street line platform, sweating, clutching a plastic cup with a liter cola. I was 38, and I was used to people looking away as I squeezed into a subway car. My clothes, a 5XL t-shirt and elastic waist pants, no longer hid the scale of my problem. That day, I wedged myself into a car, taking up 2 seats, and felt my heart pounding like a hammer in a forge. Suddenly, the world spun, my legs gave out, and I collapsed onto the floor, spilling cola on someone's white sneakers. "Hey, you okay?" Someone shouted, but I couldn't answer. My ears rang, my vision darkened, and one thought pounded in my head. This is the end. Passengers called an ambulance, and within 20 minutes, I was at Jefferson University Hospital. The doctor, a woman in her mid-30s with tired eyes, looked at my chart and said, "Mr. Owen, your heart is working overtime. Blood pressure 180 over 110, blood glucose 300 milligrams per deciliter. If you don't change your lifestyle, you're at risk of not making it to 45. I lay on the narrow hospital bed, feeling the straps dig into my skin. And for the first time in years, I wondered, how did I get here? Why did I let my body become a cage? This was the first step toward how Patrick Owen from Philadelphia lost 130 kilograms dash. But back then, I was just trying not to cry from fear. The house that became a trap. Back home, I faced a reality I'd long denied. My South Philly townhouse, built in the 1920s with narrow doorways and creaky stairs, wasn't made for someone my size. I couldn't walk in the bathroom without turning sideways, and once I got stuck in the kitchen doorway trying to reach the fridge. It was a humiliating moment. Me, a grown man, calling my brother Mike to come help me get unstuck. "Pat, this ain't normal," Mike said, wiping sweat from his brow. "You gotta do something." I brush him off, but a week later, I hired a contractor to widen the kitchen doorway. It cost $1,200. Money I could have spent on new sneakers or a gym membership. Widening the doorway solved the problem, but I realized I was remodeling my house to fit my illness instead of fighting it. Studies show that obesity is often tied to psychological barriers like shame and denial, which keep people from making changes. New England Journal of Medicine, 2017, a Harvard Medical School study found that 65% of people with obesity avoid doctors due to fear of judgment. I was a textbook case. I was widening doors instead of shrinking my waistline. The mystery, what lay behind the weight. But why had I become this way? It wasn't just a love for cheesesteaks or laziness. My weight started climbing in my 20s after my mom passed away. She died of lung cancer in 1999, and I, then a skinny guy at 176 pounds, started eating to cope with the grief. Pizza, soda, donuts, food became my comfort. By 30, I weighed 330 pounds, and by 38, I was at 463. Science backs this up. Emotional eating is linked to the activation of dopamine pathways in the brain, creating an addiction similar to drug dependency. Neuroscience and Biobehavioral Reviews, 2018. A University of California study showed that high-calorie foods trigger the same neural circuits as cocaine. But I didn't know that then. I only knew that whenever I felt empty, I reached for another order of fries. Lying in the hospital, I asked myself, could I rewrite my story? Could Patrick Owen from Philadelphia lose 130 kilograms? without surgery, without diet fairy tales? It was a puzzle I resolved to solve. Chapter 2, First Steps. After the hospital, I came home with a stack of brochures about healthy eating and a referral to a dietitian. But instead of rushing to the gym, I started with research. I was an engineer by training, and I liked figuring out how things worked. My body became a machine I had to fix. The science of food, what I learned. I dove into books and articles about metabolism. My 463-pound body burned about 3,500 calories a day just to keep going, breathing, heartbeat, movement. American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, 2006, a National Institutes of Health study showed that basal metabolism is higher in people with obesity due to greater body mass. But I was consuming around 6,000 calories, mostly from fast food. Simple math. I was creating a 2,500 calorie surplus daily, which turned into fat. I also learned about the glycemic index and how sugar spikes insulin. Amplifying Hunger, Diabetes Care, 2013, an American Diabetes Association study found that high glycemic index foods increase appetite by 20% within 3 hours of eating. My habit of drinking 2 liters of cola a day wasn't just a quirk, it was a chemical addiction. I decided, first, I'd cut out sugar. Quitting soda was brutal. The first day without cola, I felt like an addict in withdrawal. Headaches, irritability, the urge to cave. I drank water, clenching my fists, imagining each sip washing the poison out of my system. After a week, I switched to lemon water and started cooking at home. My first meal was simple: chicken breast, broccoli, and brown rice. I hated broccoli, but learned to season it with garlic and olive oil. In a month, I lost 9 pounds. It was small, but to me, it was a triumph. I noticed I could walk a block without getting winded. Setbacks in the food diary. There were slip-ups. Once, after a fight with my boss, I ordered a pepperoni pizza and ate half. The next morning, I felt guilty, but instead of giving up, wrote it down in a food diary. Studies show that keeping a food diary helps control eating habits. Journal of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, 2019, a University of Pittsburgh study found that people who keep a food diary lose 50% more weight than those who don't. That notebook became my ally, my confessor. I also started counting calories using a phone app. Every sandwich, every olive, everything was logged. It was tedious, but the discipline helped. After 3 months, I lost 22 pounds. My clothes hung loose, and I bought new jeans, a size smaller. It was a small, tangible proof I was on the right track. Community, I wasn't alone. For months in, I took a step that scared me more than quitting sugar. I joined a support group for people with obesity at a church on Passaic Avenue. There, I met others fighting the same battle. One woman, Marge, 52, shared how she lost 110 pounds by starting with 10-minute walks a day. She showed me her old photos, and I saw myself in her. It inspired me. I bought sneakers and started walking my neighborhood, listening to health podcasts. Every morning, I passed the Italian market, smelling fresh pastries but staying strong. By the end of 6 months, I'd lost 44 pounds. I was still far from my goal, but I felt I could crack this puzzle. Chapter 3, The Turning Point. By spring 2019, I weighed 375 pounds. There was progress, but I knew I needed more. I met with a dietitian, Dr. Emily Chun, who suggested a ketogenic diet, a low-carb plan that shifts the body into ketosis, burning fat instead of sugar. Nutrition Reviews 2019, an Oxford University study showed that the ketogenic diet reduces body weight by 5 to 10% in 6 months for 70% of patients. It was risky. I love bread, pasta, and potatoes, but I decided to try it. Keto, a new frontier. The first 2 weeks on keto were hell. I felt weak, dizzy, and my mood swung like a pendulum. Dr. Chun explained it was keto flu, a temporary reaction to the body switching energy sources. I ate avocados, eggs, fatty fish, nuts, and greens. My fridge turned into a stockpile of foods I'd never considered: coconut oil, chia seeds, spinach. After a month, I lost 18 pounds, and more importantly, I had energy. I started going to the gym, walking on the treadmill at first. My trainer, a guy named Juan, taught me to keep my back straight and not overdo it. A couple months later, I added light weights, 5-pound dumbbells. It was comical. Me, a 350-pound guy, lifting dumbbells that looked like toys. But I felt stronger. The moment of clarity. The real turning point came in December 2019. I looked in the mirror and, for the first time in decades, saw the outline of my face. Not just cheeks and a double chin. My cheekbones, which I thought were gone forever, started to show. I realized I could do this. I could become the person I'd always wanted to be. But keto wasn't magic. There were days I craved a slice of pizza or a can of cola. Once at Mike's party, I binged on 3 pieces of cheesecake. But instead of beating myself up, I logged it in my diary and kept going. Studies show that occasional slip-ups don't derail progress if you get back on track. Obesity Reviews 2020, a University of Leeds study found that 80% of people who have slip-ups still reach their goals if they stay disciplined. Family, my rock. My brother Mike became my biggest cheerleader. He started Nasser started cooking with me. And we held competitions to see who could make the tastiest low-carb dish. One time, we made a pizza with a cauliflower crust. And damn, it was good. My niece, 10-year-old Emma, drew me as a superhero with the caption, "Uncle Pat beats fat." That drawing still hangs on my fridge. Mike also helped me update my wardrobe. We went to King of Prussia Mall, and for the first time in years, I bought clothes outside the plus-size section. It was just a gray XL t-shirt, but to me, it was a symbol of victory. Chapter 4, A New Life. By summer 2023, I weighed 176 pounds. I'd lost 130 kilograms over 5 years. It wasn't a miracle. It was a result of thousands of small choices: skipping soda, walking an extra block, choosing salad over a burger. I didn't have surgery or take pills. I changed my mind, and my body followed. My house no longer needs widened doorways. I can walk through any door, climb any staircase. I volunteer at the same support group at the church where I found inspiration. Every week, I share my story with new members, and their eyes light up with hope. Now, I walk in Philadelphia's Fairmount Park along the Schuylkill River, watching runners, families, and ducks gliding on the water. Every morning, I cover 3 miles, breathing easy and feeling the fresh air. It's not a marathon, but for me, it's a victory. I solved the puzzle. Patrick Owen from Philadelphia lost 130 kilograms because I believed it was possible. And if I could do it, so can you.
Thanks for being with us. If you enjoyed it and want to hear more stories, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. See you next time, friends. Bye.